everyone! So today I'm going to be making chicken spaghetti. If you've never had chicken spaghetti before, or if you're thinking that spaghetti like your Italian spaghetti, you are thinking in the wrong direction. So today this chicken spaghetti I'm going to be making is very popular here in the South. If you have never heard of this before, it's I'm just going to go ahead and show you. My camera, while I'm mixing it, is going to be at a weird angle. But let me go ahead and show you my setup I have here. So you're going to want to have a big pasta pot on warm. You're going to take, because this recipe, I downsized it for this video because this recipe will make a big honkin' thing of chicken spaghetti if you follow it to the T. But I took this size of Velveeta. The original recipe calls for a pound. This is obviously not a pound. And you're just going to cube it. And then I grated about a handful of cheddar cheese. Okay. You're going to want to saute your bell pepper and onion. I just sauteed it in olive oil. And also your pasta. The recipe calls for angel hair pasta. I use bowtie pasta because that's just what I happen to have in my kitchen. Over here, here's your chicken. This is about 2 to 3 chicken breasts I've filleted, or they were filleted when I purchased them. I did not take the time to fillet them. And then what I did is it says to boil it, but I found that if you saute it, I actually sauteed the chicken in this pan before I did the vegetables. And just the sauteing, it will give it more of a flavor. You're also going to need a can of Rotel, cream of chicken, and cream of mushroom. And once you have all of your parts set out like this, this is the easiest pasta you will ever make. And like I said, the camera angle will be a little weird just because of how I'm going to have to set it. Well, I may just hold it. Yeah. So, like I said, the original recipe calls for angel hair pasta, but I just happen to have bowtie pasta, so that's what we're going to use. And let me grab a spoon. Just going to break up your pasta. It's actually, my pasta's been sitting for a while because I made this and I've tried to film this video a couple of times. My oven, I'm going to turn it to low because you're going to want to melt the cheese. And I'm sorry, my camera is just going all over the place. I don't have anyone to film this for me. I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil to help loosen my pasta back up. So like I said, your oven needs to be on warm or low. And you're just going to toss your pasta in the olive oil to get it where it won't stick together so much, even though it doesn't really matter because it's going to stick together anyway. This will just help it some. Alright. So now I'm actually going to set my camera down. Hopefully that's a good enough angle. Maybe I won't set the paper towels on fire. Alright. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in my bell pepper and onions that I sauteed. So I'm just going to add all of those in. And like I said, this recipe, I've condensed it just for convenience purposes. But if I'm making this for a big crowd, I follow the big recipe. And it lasts you for a while. So you're just going to mix all that together. And your chicken, when you're sauteing it, if you don't get it sauteed all the way, don't worry about it too much because you're going to put this in the oven. So now that you've added your chicken, and I just chopped up my chicken some. You can shred it apart more if you want to. I probably actually should have chopped mine up a little bit more. I'll do that before I put it in the oven. Because what I do with this chicken spaghetti when I make it is when I'm making the big vat of chicken spaghetti, and I know that sounds horrible saying a big vat, but it is. It makes several servings. I will half it, and then I'll freeze part of it before I put it in the oven. So now what you're going to do is you're going to add in your Velveeta. So just add all your Velveeta in, and make sure that you do cube the Velveeta, because it will make it easier when it comes to melting. And I know this is a lot of cheese, but this is a very cheesy dish. Your grated cheese is going to be for the top of the chicken spaghetti. This recipe was actually given to me by my sweet grandma. She makes it so much better than I do. But this is just one that I make. My husband, this is his favorite meal that I make. And hopefully, if I do well on this first one and I'm able to upload it to YouTube with not going over anything, I might do more recipes. Okay, I'm just going to leave that cheese on my hand for right now. I'm not too worried about it. And this is when you'll probably want to turn up your oven or your stove top. Just kind of get that cheese on the fast track to melting. And just continue to toss. And now what we're going to do, we're going to add in our cream of chicken. You can add the cream of mushroom first. This just happened to be the one I grabbed. You can see I'm using the Walmart brands. Nothing against Great Value brands, but when it comes to their soups and their some of their boxed products, they tend to be a lot more salty. Like this cream of chicken is very salty, and I usually wouldn't use it, but it was 48 cents. So I was like, well, I'm here. I got all that chicken, might as well. And this recipe is great for if you bought like a bulk thing of chicken or something. And you can hear everything starting to sizzle. Try not to let it sit and sizzle for too long, because your pasta will start to burn. I'm just going to keep tossing, because you really want your Velveeta to melt. You don't want any chunks of the Velveeta, because it will not be appetizing when you go to eat that. Alright, now I'm going to add in my cream of mushroom. And if you're on a diet, I guess you could try and make this meal diet friendly, but it really isn't the same without the Velveeta. And like the Velveeta I bought, it's like a fourth of the fat or something, but still, it's Velveeta. And this is going to start thickening up, but you still want that Velveeta to melt. And guys, I do not know how to edit videos. One of my friends we were actually sitting on the back porch just kind of having our girl chat, and she was like, you have so many recipes, you should put them online. And at first I thought she was talking about a blog, and I was like, I do not have the time to sit and vlog right now. So she suggested YouTube, and I told her I'd give it a run, and we would go from there and see what happens. Now you're going to add your Rotel. I know a lot of people drain their Rotel. I do not. I think it gives this a little bit more flavor and makes it not so thick. But you're going to stir in your Rotel. And still trying to get that Velveeta to melt. I don't like that little sloshing sound this makes. Just continue to stir. You might turn your oven up a little bit more. Now, when I'm cooking, I never start out on high when I'm cooking unless I'm boiling water. A lot of the times, you probably know, your food will just cook way too fast, and especially when you're sauteing, a lot of the times people will burn their vegetables or just overcook whatever they're sauteing, and a lot of the time is because they don't start out on low. I was taught, and I've experienced, that you need to start out on low and gradually build your heat. If that's a no-brainer for you, that's great. But, you know, some people or anything like my friend who wanted me to put these online. She does not know how to cook at all. So you can see, here, I'll show you. You still have some chunks of Velveeta in here that you're wanting to melt. This usually calls for a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper, and a yellow bell pepper. And you know, honestly, I think that's just to give it some more color, because right now it's very yellow from the soups and the cheese. You can also use cream of celery if you don't like cream of mushrooms. It's just, the cream of mushroom, I think, gives it a really bold flavor. But some people don't like mushrooms, and, you know, you can do 2 cans of cream of chicken or cream of celery. It really, whatever is your fancy. And this will really work your arm out too, so prepare to get a workout when you turn your oven up and you got to really start stirring this. Alright, and I'm going to show you my Velveeta. It's not all the way melted, but at least it's soft, and that's all that really matters. So now you're going to turn off your oven, and gotta do something with my phone again. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to adjust the camera, and like I said, I do not know how to edit videos. Sorry, you gotta look at my ugly countertops. This is just a little glass, it's actually a Tupperware dish, but because I told you when I make this I like to store it, I don't cook all of it at once, so that's what I'm going to do. Once you get all this made, I'll show you what to do. Sorry. Okay, so you have your baking dish, or your Tupperware dish if you're storing this. I'm just going to scoop some of this pasta in here, and the great thing about this is, since you haven't finished cooking it yet, and you do need to put this in the oven, don't serve it straight out of the pot, because like I said, not all of the Velveeta is going to be melted, and also you have to sprinkle the cheese on top. So what I'm going to do, hopefully that does not drop on me. Okay, so I've put the chicken spaghetti in this, and once this cools, I'm going to put the lid on it and put it in the freezer. And this will keep for a really long time. So, you know, whenever you get ready to cook it, just take it out and sprinkle your cheddar cheese on it and pop it in the oven for 350 until it's you know, you've seen that it's melted and it looks like this again and the cheese is melted. Actually, what I would probably do is I wouldn't put the sprinkled cheese on top until you've seen that this is cooked from coming out of the fridge. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing with this one. Okay, and I am sorry about this really ugly, humongous pan that I'm going to show you, but I've had this pan since my husband and I got married, and it's just the only one that I grabbed, so I'm sorry. Here it is, the beast. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon the rest of this into this pan, and yes, this pan is way too big for how much is in here. It'll probably because I'm just going to pour it, but I'm just going to show you. You know, you just scoop this on here, and then you'll take some of that cheese that you had melted, and obviously you're not going to do it piece by piece, but you will fill this whole pan. When I pour this, it'll make a layer in the bottom of the pan, and then you'll take your cheddar cheese that you've grated and sprinkle it over the top, and then pop it in the oven for 350 until this is melted. Other than that, have a peachy day.